Snow was falling quietly over the small mountain town of Gray Hollow. The wind howled through the wooden buildings, and most people had already closed their doors for the night. At the edge of town, a tall, rugged man sat outside the old saloon, sharpening a small hunting knife. His name was Caleb Walker. People in Gray Hollow called him the Mountain Man. He lived alone in a small cabin deep in the forest and rarely spoke to anyone. Caleb preferred silence, but that night, something unusual caught his attention. Across the street, the boarding house door burst open. A young woman stumbled out into the snow, carrying only a small cloth bag. Her long red hair blew wildly in the freezing wind. "Don't come back," the boarding house owner shouted before slamming the door. The woman stood there for a moment, stunned. Caleb watched quietly from the shadows. She looked around the empty street, clearly unsure where to go. Snowflakes settled on her thin shawl, and she wrapped it tighter around her shoulders, trying to keep warm. Caleb stood up slowly. He walked across the street with heavy boots crunching in the snow. "You shouldn't be standing out here," he said in a calm, deep voice. The woman looked up, startled. For a moment she seemed unsure whether to trust him. I don't have anywhere to go," she admitted softly. Caleb studied her face. She looked exhausted, but there was strength in her eyes. "What happened?" he asked. "They said I couldn't pay another week," she replied. "So they threw me out." Caleb glanced at the dark boarding house, then back at the woman. "What's your name?" "Emily." The wind grew colder. Caleb took off his thick coat and draped it over her shoulders. "You'll freeze out here," he said. "My cabin isn't far from town." Emily hesitated. Gray Hollow wasn't known for kind strangers. But Caleb didn't look like a dangerous man. He looked like someone who had spent too many years alone. Finally, she nodded. They walked together through the quiet snowy road toward the forest path. Caleb's cabin was small but warm. A fire burned gently in the stone fireplace, filling the room with soft orange light. Emily sat near the fire, warming her frozen hands. "You live here alone?" she asked. Caleb nodded. "Been that way for years." He handed her a bowl of hot stew. Emily ate slowly, clearly grateful. "Why did you help me?" she asked. Caleb thought for a moment. Then he shrugged slightly. "Because someone should." Days passed. Emily stayed in the cabin, helping with small chores while Caleb hunted and gathered firewood. Slowly, the quiet house began to feel less lonely. They shared meals. They talked by the fire. And for the first time in many years, Caleb laughed. One evening, as snow fell gently outside, Emily looked at him across the table. "You know," she said softly,